So guys, today we're going to go through and we're going to install our reverse plate micro switch to our shifter. So before we do that though, we have to remove our seats and the side covers of the tunnel. So here are some of the tools that you need to perform this task. I got an impact driver. I've got a T30. I have a 13 millimeter, which is used to remove the two bolts that are up here. And then I've got an 18 mil that holds the base of the seat. And then for the X3, we've got the two seatbelt restraint mount points up on top. So now we're going to take and remove this cover right here. And there's our shifter. So this is the area we're going to be working in next. Okay, now that our cover is removed, you can see the vehicle is in park. So we want to keep this area nice and free, so leave it in park. The two bolts that we're going to need to remove are right there, and those are your T30s will come out. And then that's where we'll insert this plate into there. So you can see that this plate is slotted, so that gives you the forward-backward positioning of the rocker switch. And then when I turn this over, you'll also see that the switch can go up or down, so when it makes the pendulum swing of the shifter, that it'll actually make contact with the rocker switch. So those are the two movements. So you've got the up and down, and then this side here you've got the front to back. So again, we want to make sure that we're in park. And so this would free up this area where the switch is going to go in. I've already gone ahead and ran the two wires from the switch that go through. There's a slot right here in the back. One of them is the 10 amp with the mini fuse on it, and the other one will go to our light bar or your cubes or whatever you're using for reverse. So in here, you've got two bolts here to remove. You take your T30. Those, I already loosened them up, so those will come out just to kind of speed up the video a little bit. And then what you're going to want to do is take the two power lines, kind of move those back out of the way. This arm right here is going to get tucked underneath these hoses or these lines. So you're going to want to take it and angle it down. And then this triangle right here, that's part of the shifter plate. We're going to want to take it, your thumb, and you're going to move it out like this. And then you're going to line up your holes right here. And so then we can take our bolts and we're going to put those back in. So you take and you put both of those in. And you might have to move this around, you know, forward or backward to get the bolts to line up and lock in place. And then I also have a cheater right here where I can see where that hole lines up. I don't know if you can see that hole right there. So I can see through that, and then I know that I'm basically home at that point. So then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten all this back up. You can see I'm just doing this hand tight at the moment. And once that is snug in place, okay, now I wanna start paying attention to the shifter because I'm gonna take it out of park. And I'm going to make this pendulum hit this trigger right here, and you can hear that locking. That means the switch is being made. So very gently, I'm going to take it down, and right there is reverse, and you can see how they're stacked right here on top of each other in a nice straight line. So then when I go into neutral, then it'll be around the switch, and you can hear it click to release it. So there it is again, made. So that's a good position right there. Now, if this was to be on this side of the shifter, we can take and adjust this linkage right here. So we can slide the plate forward or backward. And the same thing here. If the limit switch was on this side, the right side of that shifter, then again, we would move the plate forward so these two align basically so they're on top of each other. So that would be how you'd want that to impact each other. So if this is also where it's bending this arm back, like it's bending it because it's binding it, it's probably too high. So on the other side, you can take and lower the switch with those 2 bolts, or if it's a minor adjustment, you can probably just bend the arm just a little bit just to clear the switch. And again, you can always tell because you can hear the clicking of it. So once that's in place, you can go ahead and tighten these back up, the 2 bolts with your T30, the 2 wires that came through. So this is what they are. So here is your wire that'll go to your accessory circuit. So this powers the switch. So this would go around your console right here, and then right directly on the other side, you would put this on your accessory circuit. That's all you would do there. Then there's another wire that comes out of the switch that goes back to your light bar. So this would plug in to our X harness. On our X harness, we have a black wire, a red wire, and you notice conveniently there's an open slot right here. So that open slot is where this wire will end up going, okay? So ground, flashing amber, cargo lights, so these are your rocker switches on your dash, and then this one will be your reverse plate, will go into that position. So this wire just gets pushed into here, the lock goes back on, that feeds back through your car, and then it goes over to your connector. So for the Can-Am, you've got this plugs into your tail light section. Your switch that we just added will plug into this, and then our light bar plugs into this piece. So that would be the entire connection right there. So that's it.